has a section which is a bar at home, and when he's coming back home, they do make a shopping of wines and so forth, take home. And some, they take those expensive wines from South Africa. You find like a bottle of 500,000. So to me, why I'm bringing that expression and that verbatim is, let the state, let those who are in the URA, they tax already those guys who are already getting a lot of money. And if you tax wine, that wine exported from Turkey, wine exported from South Africa, still someone will buy it. Tax it, put all the taxes to those guys, because for them you are already the government, or where they are working, they are getting the money. I wanted us to have the shared view in that line, and we could tax those luxurious items, and of which now will bring a balance of the social justice. You tax where those who are getting a lot of money. Don't tax this bottle of water. Tax those wines, those perfumes, expensive perfumes. That's what I wanted to share.
So that's equally a very good thought. But for me, I'm looking at, instead of coming down to the symptoms, why don't I go straight and address the problem? And here in this case, the point is it worthwhile for us to be paying salaries of 83 million, 100 million, 120 million, when actually the country is in a crisis?
It's not good.
Exactly. So because it's in a crisis, would it be time? I mean, we should, these are times, hard times, they say hard times call for hard measures.
Yes, yes.
So if we are in hard times, let this hard time not be felt by a selected category of individuals. Let it be a cross-cutting thing. When the country stabilizes, all these revisions can be made.
Should you call that a regulation of public expenditure?
Exactly.
Yes, please.
That is one of those things. Today, as I was driving here, I was stuck in traffic, and I was looking at all these government Prados, and I mean recently I was even at country, I saw all these huge vehicles, and in all those huge vehicles there's either a driver or there is a child, and they are buying charcoal. You get it? Honestly, in all annoyance, I am here saying we are in a crisis. Why are government vehicles being sent 500, 600 kilometers back and forth, almost 800 kilometers, with a sack of charcoal and the child behind? Why don't we park government cars? We have over 155 public sector organizations in Uganda.
155
public sector organizations. Those are less of ministries, please note, isn't it? So, and each of those PSOs, at the bare minimum, has 3 cars. So do the math. Close to 500 vehicles, fully fueled by government. Do we really have to run that? As we speak now, we have 69 huge public infrastructures running in the country. Honestly, if we don't construct an extra road, shall Uganda die? But you see, denying our children, denying the youth opportunities of them to think, you're actually killing. You have these roads, but roads, I mean, I'm not disputing that infrastructure is not good. It is very good. But infrastructure on the expense of social justice is also something that has to be strongly reconsidered, isn't it? And I mean a couple of other huge expenditures. Could it be time that we extract out, yes, policies are in place, but is it time for us to extract and say, dialogue on the table? What are these critical eaters of expenditure in the country? Because it's because of that higher expenditure that tax collection is even being pushed deeper and deeper to you and me, to people lower, to other generous citizens in Uganda who cannot afford to pay for expensive livelihood and expenditure of, yes, pertinent issues, but not priority.
One second. You are communicating, you are teaching, you are informing us in any way I can state it very well. But there is a concern. The information you are sharing for all along and even of now, it is usually kept there in good books and in lecture rooms. Why am I bringing this once again? The desire for us, especially Smart 24 TV, is that this information not either cause a discontent by anyone, but to have the responsibility. Responsibility is one of the item, the principles of social market economy, where we have a responsive citizenry that is able to know this has gone wrong, let us all of us cooperate together and sort it. And everyone seems not to be taking care. There are those who are politicians, unfortunately, or maybe whether it's realistic or not, I leave it to you viewers, who are ending up blaming the academician and say, the problem is the academician, and happen to be both, happen to also participate in politics at a certain level, and also again to be in academia. I say, but are we the problem? Well, even to be here is not that this is a thorough job that I could maybe admire to undertake, but it is with the passion of service. What do you think should be done to deliver that information, the bridging of the gap, information sharing, now the responsiveness of citizens? Those who are in the villages, as you are talking about this, giving us this analysis, they seem not to be minding. So long as one comes and maybe you are earning the 50 million or the 80, you live at church 2 million, 1 million, they clap hands for you, you give some little, they call it, the local brews, and then it's done. This seems to be crippling our country, the responsiveness. Well, again, I would like, as you come back again, looking at the common welfare. Children, as we are talking about the traffic jam, the very vehicles of the government, of which the very government which is serving us, they do pass by these children. Some are in authority, the KCCA, or maybe ministries, maybe they are part of the police, internal affairs. Children on this street, the common welfare, social market economy, couldn't, I believe, embrace this? How can you have children, the Karamajong, they are Ugandan children, and they are just on the streets of Kampala, no one is taking care? Kindly come in and give us your analysis on that and what should be done.
Okay. Thank you so much once again, Dr. Tindiewa, for those good questions and those good submissions. I want to start from where you began on the issue of social justice and how you want us to connect it with the academia. For a long time, where has the academia been? Not to come to the forefront and try to educate. My grandmother in the village is not aware about this.
They're not aware.
Because in social justice, we have what we call inclusive education. Inclusive education means that no one should be left behind. No Ugandan should be left behind when it comes to knowledge dissemination and understanding. Now, back to where we began from, do you think Uganda is fully onboarding all those principles of social market economy, where we are trying to single-handedly pick out a few examples? I feel we are picking out just a few examples, and I mean this is this is an ongoing series. So maybe in future we'll try to also dissect this further. But if I can say something brief, is that for a long time, academia has been looked at, stay there, teach, isn't it? So because of the teaching, there's evidence that there's a disconnect between what we teach and actually what is in reality, isn't it?
As we're moving forward, what should be the responsibility also of citizens? Because I don't want to say that the whole blame we take it. What is happening, it should be a collaborative effort, but it seems to be a mismatch. We are having different information being disseminated. As you are bringing now very well, clearly to the viewers, it is very now understood that we shouldn't blame the Ukraine war, the COVID-19, much as they are contributory factors, they are secondary. That's how you normally say it, right? But they are primary. And that's where you had reached to look at these primary causes and how the state should run, maybe if it is in for the citizen to swing in action and handle this and handle that.
Okay, but I don't want us to miss the point that we're trying to explain.
Yes, please.
How we try to connect the academia
to
our role as the academia. Now that opportunity has come, whereby the academia can actually get into practice. We are more than willing to harness these opportunities, whereby we are speaking. But you see, as we speak, we are only speaking to the people that have a television this evening, the people who are on DSTV, the people who are on GoTV. But there is already a gap. So in terms of social justice, it is very critical that there is this gap between what is in the academia and what is at community level is closed. Now, I don't want to apportion blame, but from academic point of view, I want to call ourselves stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? Of course, government is the primary stakeholders. Policymakers are the stakeholders. As the academia, in the way we disseminate knowledge, we have a role to play. But equally, the institute of knowledge dissemination, especially at mass media level, is very critical. So us as stakeholders, how far can we go? So this is something that I didn't want us to miss. So if we think that we want to go the way of social market economy, then it is very critical that social justice is at the forefront.
Social justice is the forefront.
Number two,
yes.
I will end with that as we take the break,
yes,
is the issue of responsibility, isn't it? Responsibility is very pertinent.
Briefly.
Yeah, now my challenge is, at what point, at what stage do we get updates of what has been discussed in terms of these crisis moments? What is happening? What is the policymaker doing to encourage and to strengthen an individual, a country at large, to show there's something we are pushing? Because you see, during times of crisis, that's when people need to come together. And I mean, in your community, when there is a death, when there is a big sickness in the house, that's when you see people coming together because there's something that needs to be solved.
Thank you.
We are not seeing that, and we need
We will be coming back, and as she puts it clearly, it's a time to come together for us in our own way. Smart 24 TV, we've come together with the academia and the viewers. And we ask you, by the way, to partner with us as we do deliver such relevant information. It's not only transforming the economy or giving ideals to Uganda, but even elsewhere globally all over the world. We're on DSTV and GoTV, and the information we share is for economic transformation. Stay tuned on Smart 24 TV. We are still having a great package this evening, and everyone outside there, stay alert, steady fast. Let's take steps and come from where we are, we go to the next level. Thank you.